All right, hello everybody, back and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. As you see, I am your sit-in host as Charlie Turner is on assignment. Chris, how are you today?
Good. How are you? Welcome aboard again. But you're always with us, so
Oh yeah, I'm always on the sidelines, but I'm happy to be here. I love this. This is the greatest day of the week, Saturday, wrestling day.
that's right. That's what it used to be, and that's what we're keeping it.
Yeah, it's never going to change for us. It's always
Yep.
wrestling.
It's
Oh
always
man,
classic wrestling in my house every day.
I know it is. I know that vault opens up and there's no way I could get. You gave me some discs. I was looking the other day through some of the great discs you friended me. Man, it would take a lifetime, and you've got more. You've got more than I've ever seen.
And I keep getting them too. It's great.
Yeah, it is great. So today we have a guest, as usual, a great guest, huh, Chris?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. We have again, like Mr. Crockett, Mr. McCarch, and them. We have wrestling royalty joining us today. Wrestling announcer from the USWA, the GWF Global Wrestling Federation. We have Mr. Doyle King out of Texas joining us today. Mr. King, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here today, and I know that I've called many matches where falls count anywhere, especially
You
some of those
certainly did.
especially some of those Bruiser Brody Abdullah the Butcher battles.
Oh, yes, indeed.
We were
Like
we were so lucky here in Texas, pardon me, that we got to see Brody and Abdullah. They made so many appearances here in Dallas and Fort Worth. Probably more appearances than they made in any other arena anywhere because they love Texas.
Yes, sir. I remember it well. Yeah, and we miss King Kong Bruiser Brody. I know his wife, Barbara, has been on a lot of podcasts and is a nice lady.
Yes, she is. She's a wonderful woman. And it was tragic what happened to Brody, and even more tragic what didn't happen to Carlos Colon and his band of cronies there in Puerto Rico.
I totally agree. Totally agree. He probably would still be with us today, whether he was wrestling or not.
Right on.
Yeah.
Brody was a good friend of mine. He used to come over to my apartment after the matches, and we'd drink beer, we'd smoke a little pot, and we'd go to the airport then, and I'd drop him off. But he was one of these guys that didn't like to go out to the nightclubs and party. He had one little place over on Northwest Highway here in Dallas called the Cottage Inn, and when he would go in there, they called him Frank. And he'd sit down at a table and nobody would bother him. He could just go in there and wind down after the matches and have a few beers and kick back, and nobody's over there in his face. They just didn't. The Cottage Inn, great old place. I think it's still open on Northwest Highway. It's been there forever.
Wow. Too bad. Yeah, too bad the old sportatorium isn't still standing there on Industrial Boulevard, Dallas, Texas.
I know, man. The homeless did away with that when they decided to start a fire in the office to keep themselves warm. Well, it was a wooden building, and that was the end there. They couldn't rebuild it and keep the grandfather clause in, so they would have had to bring it up to spec to the current code, and there was no way to do that. When I was down there, they had bare wires running from the electrical panel across the ceiling down to those huge ring lights that they had all the way around the ring with those 500-watt bulbs in them. It was so hot down there in the summertime down ringside, it would be 122 degrees at match time, bell time at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Especially when the tin building and that Dallas heat. I can only imagine.
It was great. And I'm sitting down there in a tuxedo.
Oh,
yes.
You could tell how hot it was on the TV show, whether I had my coat off and my sleeves rolled up. My sleeves rolled up. It was over 100 degrees that afternoon.
Wow. I know John has a couple questions for you, Mr. King, but one, since we're talking about it right away, I have for you is how come we never saw a steel cage match on TV from the Sportatorium, whether it would be world class, USWA, or the GWF?
Wow. That's an interesting question because
I know they had them, but not on TV.
Maybe there was too much blood. Maybe the television producers didn't want to put that match on because you couldn't see it well. I don't understand that. Looking through the steel cage,
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure why, because we had a dozen steel cage matches that I remember.
Yes.
I just didn't remember them not being on TV.
Yeah, I'm not one have I even seen, even with getting old footage. And within my collection, I have a DVD collection of all the territories and everything, and not one steel cage match was on TV. So I thought I'd bring it up to you.
Yeah, I wish I could answer the question. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. King, you're a legendary broadcaster. Geez, great voice because you're a great broadcaster. How did it ever start that you got into in the ring and wrestling and all of that?
Well, that's a pretty interesting story. I was working for the big rock station in Dallas, Q102, back in the early 80s. And I went to Fort Worth with, a hang over your shoulder Marantz tape recorder, cassette recorder, and a nice mic hooked up to it. Dee Snider from Twisted Sister was going to be in Fort Worth at that time. And they weren't wrestling at Will Rogers that night. They were wrestling at another venue because of the rodeo or something. Anyway, I got my interview from Dee Snider. And I had always wanted to call wrestling matches. But as you probably know, maybe not, you guys are way young. But in the old days, there was no way to get into the wrestling business. If you were an outsider, you were a mark. You were an outsider. But I went down there and I decided that I was going to call a match, and I'm standing right in the middle of the crowd, and it was not a multi-level place. It was everything, it was a temporary venue while the rodeo was on, and the crowd was crowded around me, and it was Terry Gordy in that match. He had just come back from Japan with the Spike. And I'm standing in front of the crowd, and Gordy lays the spike. I don't even remember who his opponent was at the time, but I'm in there and I'm calling down, I'm saying, Gordy with the spike. He's got the spike. And the crowd is just behind me, and I listened to the tape on the way back to the radio station in the Q102 van, and I left it in there. Well, Bo Roberts was the morning host. He and Jim White were going to a gig, and they popped that tape in and started playing it. And they said, "Oh my God, we got to get this. We got to get this to the boss." So they gave it to the program director, and he said, "Wow, this needs to be on the air." And right then and there, rock and wrestling was born in 1982, before the WWF even thought about rock and wrestling. Guess where they stole it? Guess where they stole it from? Because Q102 got involved with wrestling then. We called the program director, called the promoter, who was Ken Mantell at the time, and he allowed us to come in of sorts. We still had to ask security to get someone to bring them out for an interview at the Sportatorium, and then I'd carry them underneath the bleachers to interview them under the stairs in the back room, because that was the quietest place that there was. There was no place that was quiet at the Sportatorium. But rock and wrestling was born then. They allowed us to come in. We broadcast the matches on Q102, snippets of the matches. The first time that we went down there, they went to us live. And of course, you know what they were doing? Playing the national anthem. So we had to break back, and then we decided that we would call the finish of the matches and then set them up and use those instead for the radio. But wrestling hadn't been on the radio in 1982 since the 50s. Wow. So we brought it back to the radio, and that's not an easy chore, trying to describe what is happening in the ring for a radio audience when you can't see it. But and I have several cuts here that I'd love to play for you. But we'll do some some Q&As first, and I got a pretty good story about Chris Adams as well. But then I became a ring announcer for KTVT Channel 11. I did several shows for them. I went up to the UWF when everybody defected from World Class and all the Freebirds, and I mean all of the top talent went up to work for Bill Watts of the Universal Wrestling Federation. And I worked for him for several years until he sold out to Jim Crockett. And that last combination show, the day before the show, I broke my ankle.
Oh, boy.
So Buddy Hammond, one of the official seconds, taped up my ankle. He used 2 rolls of medical tape. When I went down to get my tux, I told him I need a size 15 shoe for my right foot. So I hobbled in and out of the ring for 17 matches on that combination show. 17 matches, 2.5 hours.
Oh, my God.
Whoa. Yeah,
wow.
Right. That was the night that Michael Hayes' career was ended.
Oh, geez.
By one-man gang. Michael was in the ring wrestling the gang. For some reason, he was laying on his belly in the ring. And the gang went up to that second ring rope and 747 splashed him and ruined his back. Ruined it. If you can imagine over 400 pounds smashing in the middle of your back and you're on your belly. You're on your belly.
Besides,
Michael, everybody, the boys thought, oh, look at him just getting TV time up there. They carried him out. I mean, he became Doc Hendricks then. Very shortly after, he hardly wrestled at all anymore. It just really messed up his back.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Mr. King too. Of course, as you know, we had Mr. James Beard on, who also is a good friend of ours. Is a good friend of Mr. Gennard Soley, and they're getting ready for the Pro Wrestling Museum Hall of Fame Dan Gable convention in Waterloo, Iowa, at the end of July.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, we had Mr. Beard on. We were talking to him, reminiscing with him. What a great guy. And of course, mentioned you. And of course, I've known of you since I've been a fan since 1980. And I really appreciate you taking the time and joining us today.
That's absolutely no problem. Love it.
Mr. King, let me ask you something else. Me and Chris here, we were aspiring broadcasters at one time. I went to school for the whole thing until the one guy told me, my college, whatever you call him, advisor, I'll never forget, 1991, told me, oh, don't do this. It's a waste of your time. And I stupidly listened. I wish I wouldn't have. So thanks. You're broadcasting. You're just a legend to me. The voice, the whole thing, the stuff you've done, like that whole story is incredible to me. Doing what you had to do on a broken ankle, and all that. That's unbelievable. What was it like? I guess the one thing I want to know about is ESPN. What was ESPN like? Because you guys were on there, right? Or am I wrong?
No, you are correct. Global was on ESPN, and unfortunately, they laid out a lot of restrictions in their show. If you watch the show, they did such weird crowd shots. Every time somebody was going to get hit with a chair, just before they got hit, they would flash to the crowd. And then they would come back because ESPN said and Akbar, General Akbar in a suit.
Yes.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
What? Why? ESPN, they said.
Wow.
No uniforms. They said no foreign objects. That's a chair. That's a ring table. That's the bell. That's none of that. No blood. They had one more restriction. Oh, no cursing, because it was a kid's show in the afternoon. So we would tape early for the ESPN show And then they started using this match and that match and the other match, but it was such a hodgepodge. And the promoter, for whatever reason, said, I ain't doing this anymore. I'm not making a separate show for ESPN. But Gray Pearson was the promoter at the time. Gray, it's ESPN. Are you kidding me? Do whatever they want. But no, he didn't. Right. So that was kind of the beginning of the end for Global when they lost ESPN. I don't know if he was making any money off of it, but it certainly was the biggest carrier of the program, and more people watched the ESPN show, of course, than locally.
Right. Yeah, right. Out of Fort Worth or Dallas. Remember, yes, Championship Sports, Fort Worth, Will Rogers Coliseum, and of course, Mr. Mark Lawrence. I wish I could get him on this show sometime too. What were your thoughts and how was he?
Mark is a great guy. He put up with so much from me and my partner who called wrestling matches with me, John Michaels. We would go down and they gave us front row seats at the Fort Worth Will Rogers so we could call the matches from there after we became more well known. So we were down calling the matches from the front, and we were so mean to him. And I kind of feel bad about it right now, but I've got a loud voice, as you know, and so did my partner, John Michaels. And we would go down there and holler out, hey, Lawrence, don't forget, you got to get that tux back by 8 a.m. and things of that nature. But I guess he was good-hearted about it. But I'll never forget the first match that we called down there. They invited us down to do TV, and it was a great match for us because it was a Rock and Roll Express against the Fantastics, and we were just getting in. I never heard of the Rock and Roll Express before. I had never seen them. I mean, they were brand new tag team at the time. Wow. And they got in the ring, and of course I didn't know who was who, and they didn't really announce it at the beginning, and they didn't give us it was a fiasco. So my first match was just terrible. Wow. But the more we practiced, the better we got. The better we got, the better we were able to do it and convey what was actually going on. And we had so much fun on Q102. Not only did were we down at the Sportatorium on Friday night, but a lot of times the wrestlers would come up, and I did the midnight to 6 a.m. shift. So I would have them on overnight. And I'll never forget Kerry Von Erich and Brian Adias coming down one night, and Kerry got so drunk. Oh, my God, he was slurring his words. I remember slurring my words because I got kicked in the teeth last night.
Oh, boy.
Fritz heard about it. And me and John Michaels went into the editing studio and spent over 2 hours editing Kerry Von Erich to present to Fritz. And of course, when Fritz heard it, he went, well, that doesn't sound too bad. So he let it go. So we kind of kayfabed everybody on that, including our program director. Wow. Oh, but those were good times, man. Brian tried to get Kerry to leave, but Kerry, he just wanted another 12-pack of beer. Oh, good times.
Chris, maybe we should hear some of the clips that Mr. King has.
Yes.
Love to hear it.
Let's see. I've got... How about Fritz and Gary Hart? Remember when Gary Hart's hair was cut forever? He could never have hair again. This is the middle of Texas Stadium. I think I said 50,000. I think the actual count was more like 35. But there were a lot of people there. Here's Fritz on Gary's hair.
All right.
Oh, we didn't hear that. That one didn't come up.
Oh, it's not playing for you?
No, that one didn't. No. Yeah.
I'm sorry, it wasn't playing for you?
No.
Oh, you couldn't hear it.
Not that one. Never
Man. I don't see why it's not sending to you. Well, I guess we won't be able to do the clips, but that's all right. I've got.
That's okay because
go ahead.
Well, that's okay. Yeah.
I got another question real quick.
Go ahead, John.
And this goes to broadcasting. You did that on the radio, and I love radio. To this day, I still love listening to baseball on the radio or football. I even hockey up here. I watch hockey, and I think the radio broadcast, those broadcasters are incredible. Because you gotta make me see it and feel it.
Right.
How hard was it? And did you do any other things like any other sports on the radio or anything like that?
I did not do any other sports on the radio, and I found it rather easy because it's just describing what you are seeing. But you have to have a command of the English language, and you have to be able to describe it, and you have to be able to do it rapidly as it happens. So
it's why you guys are so good. It really is, I think, like some of the greats, like I think of the baseball, Vin Scully, all them. It's why I think you guys are so good. To be able to do that, it's like being a storyteller in reality, in real time. I don't know. I get blown away by it because I have always wanted to do that, but there's no chance to do it anymore because no one listens to the radio, AM radio for sports. Very few of us do. So I'm just saying that's incredible, and I appreciate you being here just to talk about that because the broadcasting part of it is really legendary. To be able to call that on, that's just incredible to me. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. I just made it a statement instead of a question.
Oh, no, that's okay. And in fact, Mr. King, you're still on the radio, right?
I am. I do a classic country show. I'm on a network. We're on about 50, 60 small to medium market stations across the United States. Matter of fact, you can hear me from border to border across Kansas. And I'm on a station close to, no, it's not close to Niagara Falls. It's close to New York City. One of the smaller markets outside the New York metro.
Okay, yeah, I mentioned to you my of course I love the classic country since being in the 80s and early 90s, but he's kind of brought me back, and our local station here is WYRK out of Buffalo, New York.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, they just had their big event, their Taste of Country, and they had brought in Tim McGraw as the headliner.
Nice.
Now,
at the baseball stadium in Buffalo.
Okay.
Let me ask you something else. Now, do you watch any wrestling anymore? Is there any part of you that wants to see it, or because I know it's a tough thing to watch now because it's so much different than what we were used to?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you.
They really don't have anything to offer me. I saw the very best that wrestling had to offer in the Freebirds Von Erichs and all of the great talent that was here, beginning with Fritz back in the day when he would battle Johnny Valentine and Dookie Amuka and names like this. Killer Carl Cox, and all of these guys that made their way through Dallas when Fritz bought into Ed Watt's promotion when he was the promoter of the Sportatorium, and then all the way through when David started wrestling, and then all of the brothers. David was my favorite.
Yeah, I believe David should have been an NWA World Heavyweight Champion back like 82, 83. They could have done it for him. He
would. Can you imagine him and Ric Flair and the battles that they could have had? They could have fought for 2 decades.
Yeah, for sure.
Tragically OD'd in Japan.
I know they gave it to Kerry in memorial to David, but I just don't think. Kerry was good, but I don't think he was like the NWA champion material that his brother David could have been.
Dude, he only had 1 foot.
Yeah.
And it was such a tragedy, his death. Yeah. He came back to wrestle for us in Global, and we packed the house again. It was so great to see 5,000 people there at the Sportatorium screaming their asses off. And it was so loud down there, and Kerry was coming back, and then he got pulled over. And he had cocaine with him. And he had pills with him. and he was going to have to go before the judge, and it was sentencing time. And Kerry couldn't face prison being a one-footed professional wrestler. You can imagine what was going through his mind, his drug-addled mind. God, I wish he hadn't done that. But he didn't. He didn't want to go to court. He didn't want to go to prison, and he thought the best way out was to kill himself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, you talk about a tragedy. Have you guys heard about the Von Erichs movie? There's going to be a movie out about them. Zac Efron is going to star in that motion picture. It's in the talking stages. I can't see that he would play anybody but Kevin because everybody else died. And I'm not sure exactly how or what the storyline is going to be. We'll end up seeing how true it actually is.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Mr. King, I know the WWE, of course, did their kind of documentary there on a DVD about the history of world class and the Von Erichs. But I like the one that was done by the other group. I can't think of it right now, but that one was so much better of a documentary of the whole story, world class, and the family.
Was that Mickey Grant?
Yes, Mickey Grant was on it, in it. Yes.
Yeah, I thought he has made some great documentaries. Mickey was, I forget exactly, but he was in charge of the production of the World Class Sportatorium show. He was always in the truck.
With Mr. Bill Mercer, too.
Yes, correct. Bill Mercer.
Yes.
I got to ask one last question, Chris, for myself. Ric Flair is wrestling again.
Yes.
I mean, what do you think about that? I don't even know what your relationship was with Rick. Did you know him? With Ric Flair?
I did one interview with Ric Flair, and it was. I'm really proud of it. God, I wish I could play the audio here, but this was shortly after the ABC News story where John Stossel accused Dirty Dr. D of wrestling being fake, and then got right up in his face and said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I say wrestling's fake. Pow!
Bang.
Right across the side of the head and the ear, and knocked him down. And well, you know the rest of the story. Well, I got Rick underneath the bleachers in the sportatorium under that stairwell and talked to him a little bit, and then asked him if he had heard that story. And of course, he said no. So I had to relate it to him. He said, "Oh, I had heard about it. Now that you give me the details." And he did one of the best interviews right off the cuff. I didn't ask him ahead of time what I was going to ask. Well, what do you think about this? And he told a story about how anyone in any profession whose profession has been attacked, let's take a doctor, for example. Well, will that doctor confront you by hitting you? No, the doctor is going to use his words to argue his point back. He said, but a professional wrestler fights for a living, and I'm proud of what he did. That's how Ric Flair ended that interview. But he told that story, and I thought it was great. He is a really smart man. Why is he doing another match? Personal opinion. He needs the money.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He needs the money. He needs one more big payday. And I saw him, and I don't know if you saw this on the internets, but he took a bump off the top rope in a practice gym. Guy put him up on the top rope. He took a bump, landed on the side of his hip, just like he always does, never flat on the back because of that plane crash that he was in.
Right.
Where he broke his back. How he came back from that, I don't know.
I know, really.
It's got to be so tough. And now all the rumors are going around about Kevin Von Erich going to come out of retirement. Absolutely false. I can tell you that right now. He's not coming back out of retirement. He did that already. He was down in Galveston for a huge match at the Gulf Coast something or another several years ago. I was down there. They hired me to ring announce for that match. And You talk about a fiasco. The matches started at 6 p.m. and they were not over until 11:45.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
yeah. That's
we went in there. They turned the air. Okay, it's 100 degrees in Galveston with 100% humidity, so it's 115 outside when you figure in that they turned the air conditioner on the day before, and it was 60 degrees in the arena. I saw grown men with their hands inside their t-shirts trying to stay warm. I'm wearing a tuxedo and I'm cool with my jacket on. The cops that were there wearing their vests and stuff, they were all, yeah, I'm loving this. But everybody else was freezing. The very first match was a girls' match, and the promoter had taken the microphone to welcome the crowd and stuff. Well, when he left the ring, he walked away with the only working microphone in the arena.
Oh no.
The match is over. The match is over. No one has told me anything. Then a woman referee comes down and breaks up the fight between the two girls, and now there's 6 girls in the ring, and they're all fighting. And it's like there's another match, and we still can't find the promoter. The first match was supposed to be 12 minutes from start to finish. Now 45 minutes has gone by, and we still can't find a microphone. The sound guy didn't even have a mic that you could plug in with a cord.
wow.
Only this one wireless mic. Well, they finally find the promoter, but now we are 55 minutes behind schedule, and there's no way to make that up. They didn't even get, they had to bring Kevin out early with his boys, Ross and Marshall, to wrestle in that match because the crowd was going to go home. It's almost 10 o'clock. And wow, what a mess. I don't think I got paid until 1 p.m. There's a line of guys standing out, 15 guys standing outside waiting to see the promoter. What did I do? You can't go in there. Bullshit. I can too. And I opened the door and walked right up to the promoter and said, "Hey, I need my check." And so he gave me my check, but I'm not waiting in that line for 2 hours until he runs out of money. And that's something else. Somebody stole the money. Somebody broke I don't care. Give me my money. Anyway.
Real quick, 2 things. First, Mr. King, I want to ask your thoughts. And did you see the Kerry Von Erich, Jerry Lawler Super Clash 3 AWA match?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Okay. And you have
go ahead.
And you have a story about the gentleman Chris Adams for us.
Oh God, where do I start? How much time do we have?
Oh, as much as we need.
Oh, okay. All right. So back in the day, this was the night before, and I think it might have been the Christmas match. It might have been a New Year's. I forget. It was held at Reunion Arena, and Chris almost bled out that night to the point of passing out. Kevin wasn't bleeding, but his white trunks were red with Chris's blood. As a matter of fact, after that match, they had to take a mop bucket and mop up into the ring to mop up the blood. Why? Because Chris had done a bunch of cocaine and a bunch of methamphetamine the night before. And I know because I was there and we were all doing it together. And we ended up in the sauna and then in the pool. And he and his wife, Tony, you remember Tony Adams?
Yes.
His wife, the pretty blonde. We were all naked swimming in their apartment pool, and the apartments lined around the pool. And it's 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Chris and I ended up there. Tony had gone in the house, and he said, whap with an elbow, whap with this, and put me in the sleeper hold. He said,
no.
I can pass you out right now, Doyle King. And I went, Chris, let go. And he started squeezing, and he squeezed. And I'm over by the side of the pool, and I'm banging my arm on the side of the pool trying to get out. Well, there's no way to get out of it. I mean, geez, I weighed about 150 pounds, and Chris is 225, works out twice a day, every day. Well, I went out.
Oh, geez.
And when I came to, I could barely talk because he had crushed my larynx.
Oh,
Not crushed it, but messed it up a little bit.
yeah.
He could have done a lot worse.
Jeez.
But at any rate, so we're out there naked in the pool, and all of a sudden, here come the cops. Because I made so much noise, I guess, that people up in the apartments were saying, "Hey, there's these two naked dudes down in the pool here in front of everybody." So this woman cop walks up, the guy cop walks up, and they said, "What's going on here?" "Oh, we're just taking a swim." We got out of the pool. They let us have our towels and didn't do anything. It's Chris Adams. Y'all need to go back up to the apartment. Yeah, but there's a little Chris Adams story. Got another one too, where Chris tried to throw me off his balcony of his apartment up there. And I was working for Chris when he had his L&M promotions, when Chris was promoting matches himself after World Class had the demise of World Class and the UWF. So I was selling shows for him, calling long distance, all these places. And he ran some of these shows for 5, 6, 7 years up in Arkansas and Oklahoma. But I was trying to get my money out of him, and Chris was a tightwad boy. He didn't want to let loose of anything. And I asked him, "What about my phone bill? What about this pay?" And he said, "I'll get you your money, Doyle King." We ended up out on the balcony, and he said, "What if I throw you off this balcony, Doyle King?" And I said, "Well, I guess you'd throw me off the balcony." And he double-handed shoved me.
Oh, geez.
Up against the wall. Well, I bounced off the wall, and I hand shoved him as hard as I could. Of course, I just bounced off, but he laughed. You got guts, Doyle King. I'll tell you that. He didn't throw me off the balcony. I was tired of it. Yeah. I wanted my money. My wife and I were and I got my money too. My wife and I were at a show that I had booked in Arkansas, and he's telling all the boys, "Oh man, well the show, there's not that many people paid to get in and all." Well, it was a paid show. I knew it was a paid show. They paid him cash up front. Well, I can tell that a lot of people aren't going to get their money from this show. So my wife was asked to sell T-shirts for him. They didn't take account of the T-shirts before they gave them to her. So it's 1 for Chris and 1 for Doyle. 1 for Chris and 2 for Doyle. 3 for Doyle. Perfect. 4 for Doyle. Doyle's going to get his money. And they gave her a bank. And then they asked her if she had her bank. And she said, "No, I didn't get a bank." So they gave her another bank.
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good story. And needless to say, that was the last show that I ever did for Chris.
Right. Well,
Wow.
Chris. I mean, this is Mr. King. Thank you. This is great.
Absolutely.
Can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. Chris, go ahead. I'll let you.
Yeah, just awesome. I appreciate the time. I appreciate you getting back to us, and we're honored to have wrestling royalty like you, sir, come on and join us on our local podcast that is also seen throughout the country and world. So I thank you greatly.
Yes.
Absolutely not a single problem. Would you like my signature open for the Sportatorium?
Yes. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Sportatorium in downtown Dallas, Texas.
That's unbelievable.
Awesome.
I loved saying that. Every week we'd open the show, and it was so great. Got to do a couple of episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger. One of them was filmed down at the Sportatorium, a kickboxing match down there. And I their script was so horrid that and after I busted 2 or 3 takes at the open, and the guy said, and I forget his name now, whoever was directing that show. Anyway, he said, just do it your way. So that's how I did it, and did it perfectly, and put over the Sportatorium and wrestling at the Sportatorium all in the same take. So it was a lot of fun. We also did one from the old defunct Bronco Bowl, and that was a wrestling match. It was taken from a real life event when Hart flew down on the cable and fell to his death. Well, that happened. They did a synopsis of that, not being Bret Hart, but being somebody else. And that was a lot of fun. I still get royalty checks from them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which is cool. I think my last one was 17 cents. He paid good the day of, and the first couple of replays as well. Then the money goes way down.
That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You guys have a wonderful Saturday.
You too.
And, I'll catch you at the matches.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
King.
you. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Yep.
All right. Chris,
Wow.
unbelievable.
That was great. Our longest interview, and what a guy, Mr. Doyle King. So many more stories I'm sure we could have heard, but hopefully we'll have him back.
Chris, we're going to end up having to do that. I have to talk to Charlie. We may end up having to do 2 shows. Who knows? Because these interviews are a show in themselves. I mean, This was unbelievable. What a great, keep the guests coming, Chris. Wow. What a great show. Right there. I mean, you could drop you know what I mean? Like drop the mic and walk off, because he was incredible. Yeah. Well, why don't we do this? We need to take a break. Let's run our commercials, come back, and do what we always do.
All right. Sounds good.
Back in a moment. All right, welcome back. As you can see, thank you to our great sponsor, and also all of our shows. You can watch them. Please follow us all here, Falls Count Anywhere, on our Facebook page. Right, we got YouTube. We have also the
Twitter, Spotify.
Twitter, yes. Let's do that. Please, everyone, follow us. Give us a like. Also, Chris, before we move on to, we got to see what the Iron Sheik has to say. I'm just going to ask you about the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Yes, AEW Forbidden Door tomorrow night, 8 p.m. live on pay-per-view and different apps like Fight TV. It's the Forbidden Door, of course, is like other promotions crossing with the other promotion. So New Japan Pro Wrestling is coming over. They're going to be in Chicago, the United Center, where this is taking place. So New Japan Pro Wrestlers against AEW Pro Wrestlers, and it should be good. A lot of matches, a lot of title matches. So it'd probably be worth it.
Yeah, sounds like it. It's too bad with the injuries, of course, but what are you going to do? That's wrestling.
Yeah. Yep, indeed. And then we have just a quick shout out now. We'll mention it, but we'll talk about it next Saturday. July 2nd is the WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up.
Why don't we check in with the Iron Sheik?
Yes, indeed. Each and every week.
Yeah, let's see what he's got. Let's start at the top. He gave us 3 great tweets. Here we go.
All right.
Hello at Facebook. The sooner the better. Go F yourself. Chris, I agree. We're on Facebook. I better watch what I'm saying, but you get my point.
Yeah.
I've spent some time in Facebook prison, and I don't like it.
Definitely a little more restrictive than Twitter, since I'm on Twitter now and I can see the difference. But yeah, and classic Iron Sheik there. So
very classic. This next one, man, I'm agreeing with him a lot. Let's go on to the next one. Bill Cosby, I break your effing neck. Yeah. You know what? Again. Yes. I don't care.
Exactly. I can't blame the Sheik there at all.
No. And you know what's coming. Never have I ever gave an F about Hulk Hogan. I don't even know where this comes from. That just comes out of, I don't know. That was like last week when he talked about Columbia House Records and tapes. I don't know where this stuff.
Yeah, well, we know Hogan, it's a weekly routine. So
bumps and bruises to the Sheik. The Sheik's the best. And I appreciate that. Just seeing him, I agree with everything, although I think he cared about Hulk Hogan a little more than he's telling us. Why don't we do, now the best part, Chris, you know what's coming. Let everyone know.
Clips, yep, each and every week here, I provide my classic clips from my personal collection, DVD collection. I do not sell it to nobody. I don't trade it with nobody. I provide a few clips here to our show for the viewers out there to enjoy and remember. And our first one here is of our guest.
Yep.
Today, great guest, Mr. Doyle King. John, roll it.
Just unmute the mic.
Yep, there he is, a young Doyle King here.
Yeah.
Talking about Chris Adams, there he is. Interviewing Chris Adams.
The guy who choked him out, nude.
Wow, can you imagine?
No.
And here he is, fitting into his role there. The tuxedo, 100 and some degrees ringside there at the Sportatorium.
Yeah. That looks like Blackjack Mulligan. I know it's not, but look at him.
No, yeah, that was Black Bart.
Black Bart. Look at this place going wild. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and what a great host and commentator he was and still is on the radio.
Yeah, the
this
voice.
Is how I remember him, so I'm glad we got him to come on.
Me too. That's one of the best interviews every week, Chris. These guys are better and better. It's just great.
Yeah, we could go on and on. We'll have to have him back.
Oh yeah, we're gonna end up having we got to clip up all the interviews. So there he is.
And then here we get a little more recent something with Mr. King.
We have 9 years since you've been here before. You're here with talent. What are your plans?
Wow.
First of all, I'm confused.
And this was a great honor for Mr. King. They inducted him into the Hall of Fame there locally.
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is. He knows how to do it.
Of course, as we know, is just a great guy, but with the voice puts him on the map.
Sure does. And there he was. There he is. I can't say enough. I mean, I loved, you remember, we both were aspiring broadcasters at one time. And got Guys like him are the reason, I think, Awesome, outstanding.
Yep, and for the love of the sport, right?
That's right. Next up, Abdullah the Butcher.
Yes, got some couple different clips here coming up.
Yep.
Here's one, a very young one. As you can see, the footage is black and white this is out of Australia.
This is
a very
great.
young Abdullah the Butcher in action.
Yeah, look at him.
The madman from the Sudan.
From the Sudan. Yeah.
And then here we have Abdullah against a nearby legend of ours, right? The Sensational Destroyer.
I used to yes. And I was a big fan. I had his mask. I got it I ordered it out of one of the magazines.
Yes, I remember way back when. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, The Wrestler.
Yep.
And here he is against another famous masked man, Mil Mascaras.
Yeah, he was great. Man, he was great. Mil Mascaras.
Yeah. And, of course, these matches were out of Japan. This one here was the 70s.
Oh.
And the Detroit promotion. Just leveling the guy. That was like his finisher, was a big elbow coming down.
Yeah, look at that. I love it.
I don't know if you know, John, but he was actually, real name is Larry Shreves, and he's from local nearby Ontario.
Oh, I never knew. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. And here he is against the original Sheik.
Yeah, taking some. Look at that. Oh.
Yeah, just brutal. And then, of course, he had a feud going all over the promotions with this man, Carlos Colon, out of Puerto Rico. And then, of course, as Mr. King mentioned, the feud always everybody knows of Bruiser Brody versus Abdullah the Butcher all over the world.
Oh, and look at oh my God. Yeah.
And then here we have Sabu, the nephew of the original Sheik, and Abdullah going at it.
Oh my God, just like hitting him like an ice pick. Jeez.
Yeah. Or fork. My God. Abdullah always had that fork pulling out of his tights.
I know. All right, let's see. The next one you brought us is another great. The Moondogs. Here they come.
Yes, here we are. We are talking about classic teams each week. How could we not include the Moondogs, of course?
Yeah.
But a lot of this footage here is out of the Memphis promotion. This was like 82, 83. Actually, Jimmy Hart was the manager of the Moondogs here.
Yeah, we're going to see him.
Yeah, here they are going against the fabulous ones, Steve Kern and Stan Lane. Just hitting them with those bones.
Yeah, and there he is. Look at Hart. Oh, my God.
Hart managed a lot of heels back in the day.
Yeah, he was great. He really was.
Yeah, a great manager like Bobby Heenan, I would have to say.
Definitely. Yeah, he was great. We say it every week, and I know it's because we reminisce some, but whatever. There's just not enough of them anymore. None of them, actually.
Unfortunately, no. I can't think of one.
Yeah, me neither. I don't understand why, though. I mean, they're whatever. It just seems perfect for,
It was always a good classic gimmick. Yeah, I don't know why they've gotten away from a lot of classic things. And here we see the Moondogs tag teaming and Houston wrestling out of the Sam Houston Coliseum.
Wow. I guess the only one I could think of is Heyman. Paul Heyman, I guess. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of.
I mean, when he first started, he was known for that and played that part. And here we have a rare match.
Oh, wow.
6-man tag here. Can you imagine that? Bruiser Brody and the Moondogs together.
Yeah. What a savage. Look at this. Oh. Look at these guys.
Oh.
That's great.
I wouldn't want to stare across from them.
Oh, hold on. I think we started too soon.
Oh, that's okay. That's let's bring up
One-man gang.
Our last clip of Big Man. Yes, one-man gang, as we all know, but here, this was 70s ICW out of Kentucky, that the Randy Savage there against Lanny Poffo, Crusher Broomfield, he was known here.
And he had the hat on. You see that hat with the feather in it? That was great.
Yep. And here he is, he first against Lanny Poffo and here against the Macho Man. Wow. This was the ICW territory ran by their father, Angelo Poffo.
This is great. Wow, this is.
Oh, and imagine this tag team.
Oh,
Wow.
oh
King
boy.
Kong Bundy and the One Man Gang.
Combined,
Talk
got to be almost
about weight.
1,000 pounds.
Yeah, Mr. King mentioned the One Man Gang coming down on Michael Hayes here, but him and Bundy together. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow, and then here we have, a rare match from Japan with the One Man Gang. And just a great career he had in pro wrestling. And here he is later. This was 1999 against Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh, geez. Yeah, look at 1999.
Yep, and they were still going at it.
Still going. Unbelievable.
But just, the carnage and the bloodbath was just...
And the size. These guys are about 900 pounds combined, 800 some odd pounds combined, I guess.
Yeah, really. And then here he is, just a clip of him being interviewed on I believe, the Hannibal TV show on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, he's still with us, and what a great career.
We got to find him. Wow, yeah, look at him. I'm telling you, he's not a real good talker, he's telling us, but geez. Excellent clips. Excellent. Every week.
Yes, indeed. And that kind of leads us to our famous, should we say, Jobber Enhancement Talent of the Week, John.
Yes, it does. Let's bring him in. Let's find him. Hold on. There he is. His name is Scott Colantonio. Yeah. Nice Italian there. 229 pounds out of Massachusetts. And, there he is. I got to tell you something about this guy. And this is going to be my fault. And Charlie's probably next week, he's probably going to have words with me, and I don't blame him. Mr. Colantonio here, Scott, you know what's bad? And this is on me. I usually research. I was so busy doing I never researched what his matches were, like his record. I apologize. I mean, Charlie's going to kill me. I'm sorry, Charlie, out there.
Well, that's all right.
But here he is. Look at him again. There he goes. He looks, let's say, that's like a 90s. Doesn't that appear to be like a 90s?
Yeah, early 90s, and that was definitely WWF, I could tell.
Yeah.
He wrestled under. So, but still, our point each and every week is to give them a shout out and a little appreciation.
Definitely. We love those guys, as we've always said. I mean, it's not until I started talking with you again, Chris, because we've been friends for a long time, that we started all this. Did I even realize how much I did appreciate them? How much they were such a big deal to us, I guess, the guys like that, even though we didn't like them really when they'd come out, but they were the thing. You had to have them.
Like, in fact, just real quick, I was always, checking WWF 81 footage and Irish Terry Gunn and Johnny Rods and Ron Shaw, and we can go on and on. So
Johnny Rods, wow, what a career he must have had. I mean, he was at the top of in my mind, he was one of the top back when
he did win. I know he won quite a few matches. I got him winning, so he wasn't just a jobber, as you will.
And my quest for Silent Brian McNee continues.
Yes, so, we have faith that you will find him someday.
What I'm going to do is, and I've said it last time I was hosting, I'm going to get in the car. Once I can get across, the bridge with COVID and everything, I just got to go over there and start asking. I bet you if I ask around, someone's going to tell me where the silent one is. And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was popular over there. Probably still is.
Yeah, Burlington, Ontario, Hamilton. He moved around a little, but we'll find him.
Yes, indeed.
I got to say, and I got to give you the last word, but wow, Doyle King, great interview. They're so nice with their time, and I love it. That's great for us fans.
Yeah, definitely. I reach out there and I say, 15, 20-minute interview. We appreciate your time and love to have you on. And wow, we just went over that time limit today with him, and we could go on. And I'm sure, hopefully, we can have him back and tell us some more classic stories and some names of the past. And Yeah, what
Yeah.
a great show. And we would like to thank all our viewers for tuning in
Yes.
all over our platforms, of course, here on Facebook, our home, and on Twitter and Spotify and YouTube. Thanks to you, John and Robin, for all your help. And we're just getting bigger and better here each and every week. And we appreciate everything.
Yes, and we appreciate everything. I love when I get to sit in. I love that I'm in every show. I thank you and Charlie for allowing me to be a part of it. And you know, we don't have it. It's like we basically always give a time limit, but there's no time limit. It's like those old matches. It's anything goes, because how can you stop these great guests that you're finding? I don't want to stop them.
No, of course not. Especially when they get going there with great stories and they're willing to share them. I can't stop it.
No, they're staying. I don't want to stop. It keeps going. So next week we'll be back as usual, same time, 2 p.m. Charlie will be back with us.
Yes, and next week, just a quick shout out already coming up, of course, is the we mentioned with Mr. King through Mr. Gennard Soley and Troy Peterson and the group down there in Waterloo, Iowa. Their convention, yearly convention, is coming up July 21, 22, and 23. And next Saturday, July 2nd, we will have Mr. Gennard Soley making a return back to our show to help promote that. And hopefully the Impact Wrestling promoter there, Mr. Troy Peterson, may join us as well.
Oh, God. Lots coming up. Thank you to the fans, of course, of Falls Count Anywhere. Stay tuned. It's only getting better.
We have some guests coming up in July and into August. And so, yes. Please stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Well, let's get out of here. Beautiful Saturday afternoon. We'll go enjoy it. Everyone else enjoy too. And of course, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Take care.
See you next week.